What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, I'm going to talk a little Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao this morning. His article came out earlier this morning by Miguel Rivera, boxingscene.com, and I want to share my thoughts on it. Basically, Mikey Garcia is saying that he still really wants to face Errol Spence Jr., but that he has had preliminary talks with Manny Pacquiao's team about a bout with him. Now, before I do that, I want to thank everybody that is tuning into the video. Also, thank you for subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you can be notified when we release more videos and do the live streams. Also, I want to thank everybody that supports the channel in the various ways we put ads in the videos. Appreciate you understanding that. This channel is for a cause, so we try to generate revenue. Also, thank you to everybody that does super chats in the channel, Venmo, Patreon. Your support is greatly appreciated. And also, once again, a reminder that we're going to be doing a super chat challenge when 78 Sports TV comes back on his live stream in a few weeks, middle of October, I do believe. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll join me with that. Now, title of this article is Mikey Garcia confirms talks with Team Pacquiao wants Spence. So let me just go to his quote and then I'll talk about it. In short, before I do it though, man, I just feel real funny about all this talk out of Mikey Garcia about Errol Spence, man. I don't know really if I believe him 100% that he really wants to make this fight. And it just seems to me to be a bit, I don't want to say unfair to Errol Spence, but it's definitely distracting the focus in the welterweight division from where I believe that it should be, which is unification of the championship belts between the welterweight champions. Just like I believe the same thing in the heavyweight division, I believe the same thing in the lightweight division, and that's why at this point I think the one fighter in the weight class that has done the most for boxing this year has been the cruiserweight division. When Alexander Usyk unified the cruiserweight division in the World Boxing Super Series tournament. But let me go into what Mikey Garcia says and then go through that. I would like to return before the end of the year. Errol Spence is the fight that interests me the most, the one that motivates me the most. We have also talked a little bit to Manny Pacquiao's team. There's interest too. Spence is the biggest challenge and maybe the most dangerous fight for me, but I feel capable. I feel strong, comfortable, strong, fast, intelligent, experienced. I think I beat him. It is very dangerous, very risky, but it's something that I will get the most credit for. To beat a fighter like him, winning another championship in a third division in 9 or 10 months is something that nobody has achieved. And that's why I put that challenge out there. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you what doesn't ring true. What doesn't ring true is that he's more interested in fighting Errol Spence Jr. than he is fighting Manny Pacquiao. If that is the case, then, hey, man, he's an exceptional guy, because most people would be a lot more interested in facing Manny Pacquiao. Because if he beats Manny Pacquiao, that really does solidify his reputation in boxing. Manny Pacquiao is probably the only real global superstar in boxing right now that is fighting actively. And the reason that I say that, I know that there'll be some people offended about the heavyweight in Great Britain, but he's really not very well known or liked in the United States and the Western Hemisphere. And so, you're not really global if you're in the Eastern Hemisphere, and you're not really thought very highly of in the other half of the world. But Manny Pacquiao fits the profile of being somebody that has admiration. People have admiration from him all around the globe for the things that he's accomplished in boxing. So I don't really know if I believe that. That rings, not that Mikey Garcia has a reputation for not telling the truth. It just, to me, rings a little hollow. That only because it's just something that doesn't make sense to me. It's not, I don't think that's anything that you would hear anybody else say. The second issue, well, I guess the second of the three issues that I have is that I don't really care about make-believe records. I don't really care about you winning anybody winning a championship in the third division or not in 9 or 10 months. I mean, nobody else has achieved that. I don't know. Has anybody else ever tried that? I know that there's a guy, I believe Roy Jones Jr. won a light. Did he ever win a light heavyweight title? He might have won a light heavyweight title and jumped all the way up and fought for heavyweight. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what I'm saying. You have these accomplishments that are definitely impressive. I mean, if he can win one at 135, win a title at 140, and then win one at 147, that's definitely an impressive, especially if he beats Errol Spence Jr. in doing it. That is definitely an impressive accomplishment. But I just don't know. You know, I'm not one of these Guinness Book of World Record guys who really care who had the longest fingernails, right? Like, what female from Burma has the longest fingernails, you know, colored pink on their pinky, right? And the numbers were four other colors for for the other fingers. I mean, I think we live in this, you know, in a world where there's, like, especially in baseball and basketball, where you hear these records and it's just like, who won the game? Who won? And so there are some things that you can accomplish that nobody else has accomplished in a while. Unify the 135-pound division. Do that. Who else do we know in the last 20 years that has unified the 135-pound division? Right? Or unified the 147-pound division. I would rather see Errol Spence Jr. unify the 147-pound division instead of fighting a one-off against a guy that's 2 weight classes below him, where it's basically, other than the money that's in it for him, is a lose-lose for him. Public perception, if he has any difficulty whatsoever with Mikey Garcia, it's going to be a knock on him, because people are already looking to knock Errol Spence, talking about puffy nipples and garbage like that. So I would want to see what I've wanted to see for a while, definitely the last 2 years, at 147. Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, since he's up there now, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, whoever else may be, Omar Figueroa. Go ahead and unify 147 pounds. If Manny Pacquiao wants to fight somebody, Manny Pacquiao ain't really got a belt at 147 pounds. He got a WBA regular. But if he wants to fight for the WBA, go ahead and move up there and fight Keith Thurman. It's not a real belt. You know, that's why Gennady Golovkin doesn't really have that title defense nonsense that they're talking about. But that's another example of people just making up records. Right? Just, can we find some way to make it look like this is the first time that this ever happened so that we can add some more artificial value to this thing? Like, exactly. You go run the numbers, statistician, and let me know what in this scenario that we really didn't plan out has never happened before. Oh, well, this is the first time that a guy from California who's a Mexican that's over 5'6" and a southpaw has ever won two belts in 2 weight divisions, when he fought for one in the East Coast and one on the West Coast after 9 p.m. Central. Right? Oh, that's the first time it ever happened. I mean, who cares? Who is the best 135-pound champion? Who's the best at 135 pounds? We don't know. Answer that question. Answer the question. Who is, and I'm not saying that to the listeners, who's the best 135 pounder? We don't know. Is it Jose Pedraza? We know that Jose Pedraza is, at least by the result of that fight, a better fighter than Ray Beltran was. So he's now the belt. We know, according to the outcome of Mikey Garcia versus Robert Easter Jr., that Mikey Garcia was the better fighter. We know that the fight between Lomachenko and Linares that Lomachenko is a better fighter. So now we got 3 champions at 135 pounds. Who's going to be the best champion? 147 pounds. I think Errol Spence Jr. is the best 147 pounder. But let's see when he fights. Let's see him fight the winner of Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. And we'll see who the best is. We're going to see who the best is between Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. And let Mike and Errol Spence Jr. That's what Errol Spence Jr. has been talking about. He's been talking about wanting to face. He's like, hey, man, Mikey Garcia is the best. If he's the best is available, yeah, I ain't going to run from the fight. I'll take the fight. But what he said before Mikey Garcia started talking about him is, look, I want to have this fight with the winner of Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. That's what I want to do. That's what his goal was. And that's a goal at the 147-pound division. So, I feel, number one, I would suspect, definitely because this, from my understanding, I haven't seen it verified, but I've seen it in different people's videos that it's official that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have signed to fight one another. So now that's going to be on pay-per-view and Showtime. So you know that Danny Garcia, that Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia is not going to happen on Showtime pay-per-view, and Showtime wants Errol Spence Jr. to be on pay-per-view so that they can keep the guy because he's a superstar in the making, and they want to make sure that he gets his big paydays and stay with their network and doesn't get swayed because he's a free agent, to go fight for DAZN or go fight on Showtime or do HBO or do something else. But anyway, man, at the end of the day, man, Mikey Garcia is a great fighter. Errol Spence Jr. is a great fighter. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter. Vasil Lomachenko is a great fighter. But I don't really care about these records that, that's never happened before. Do some things that have happened before. Do something that has happened before that you've not done, like unify a division. Terrence Crawford did that. He unified 140 pounds. Alexander Usyk did it. He unified 100 cruiserweight. Bernard Hopkins did it. He unified 160. Jermaine Taylor was a unified champion when he beat Bernard Hopkins. Do that. You don't got to be the first to do something that nobody cares about. You can join a group of people that did something that matters. And that's what I would much rather see out of Mikey Garcia than just bouncing around and say, hey, well, I got one belt at 140 against probably the weakest champion at 140. You got your championship at 135, but you didn't face the guy that you got 2 other champions out there. Unify it. You know what I mean? But then I went to 147 and I got one and I lost to Errol Spence Jr. But hey, man, nobody else has ever tried to do what I tried to do. Don't care about what nobody else tried to do. Do what people have done before. Unify the division. Anyway, with that, I'm out. Peace.